Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm Will.
And you're watching Anderson Jazz Jams.
Episode number 6.
This channel is supported by our generous Patreons that give as little as $1 a month, and you can find the link below.
This week we're going to play a song composed by the great Dizzy Gillespie. It's called Manteca.
This week on Technique Tips, we're going to be talking about playing the overtones on your instrument. It's going to give your sound a breadth to it and all the colors that go into a nice fat sound.
So my brother played all of those notes with just fingering the low B flat, and then all of the notes that went higher were overtones. If you've ever squeaked before, those squeaks are actually just overtones of the fundamental note. And the same thing goes with the flute. I'm just going to finger low C. Great exercise to practice your overtones without tonguing them to get the new notes out and without playing a lot louder. You want to keep the volume the same and try to slur up the overtones.
It'll improve your sound and your flexibility and also your ability to tune. This week on Improve Your Improv, we're going to be talking about learning the blues. Learning your 12-bar blues is going to teach you so much about navigating harmony. It has your 1 chord, 4 chord, and the 2-5-1 that we've been talking about. If you can master your blues in all 12 keys, it's going to put you in a very good position to learn more difficult jazz tunes. Take some simple blues melodies such as C-Jam Blues or Splanky or Bag's Groove,
Tenor Madness, Sunny Moon for 2, and Now's the Time.
For things you don't learn in music school, we're going to be talking about introducing the musicians during a performance.
This sounds really simple, but it makes a big difference. It could be after the first song or after the second song. Individually introduce all of the musicians on the stage, their first name and their last name, as well as what instrument, where their hometown is, or where they're currently located.
This week on Jazz Hangouts, we're going to tell you about the Mid-Atlantic Jazz Festival. And this is a festival that was around when my brother and I were growing up. We used to go see great jazz musicians there. We heard Frank Morgan there. We've heard Bootsy Barnes. We've heard
Lou Donaldson.
We've heard Dr. Lonnie Smith. It's located in Rockville, Maryland. It's now currently run by our saxophone teacher, Paul CARR, and he's just done a great job about getting world-class musicians there, and we're going to be performing there on February 17th.
And we're so thrilled with the work that Paul CARR is doing. He not only runs the Mid-Atlantic Jazz Fest, but also the Jazz Academy.
They've got a number of high schools playing, so it's a great mix of students getting to perform right alongside top world-class professionals. Now we're going to head on over to Patreon and record our Patreon Plus video. Viewers that give as little as $1 a month get to see all these behind-the-scenes videos, and the great thing is they're all archived over the past weeks. So we'll see you in a bit.
And we're back, and we'd like to do this week's Gearhead review. We're going to be reviewing my Yamaha 571 flute. The head joint is solid silver, and the rest of the flute is silver plated. It has an offset G, so the G key right here is a little out of line with the other keys, which makes it a little bit easier to play. It also has a split E mechanism, which makes the high E easier to play as well. It's an open hole flute, which makes the sound a little bit bigger. I've had it for 15 years now, and it's just been a great flute. It goes down to a low B, and it also has what they call a gizmo key, which really comes in handy when you want to play your high C.
This week on Lick of the Week, we're going to talk about a lick that was played by the great trumpeter Dizzy Gillespie, and it's based on what we like to call the diminished scale. The diminished scale is 2 diminished chords put together, and the lick is just kind of running up and down that scale. It can be used over many chords like your dominant chords and your 2-5-1 sequence.
There's only 3 of them because it's such a symmetrical phrase that goes up in minor thirds.
This week on Cats You Should Know, we're going to be talking about a great bass player named Vince Giordano. And my brother and I have had the pleasure of performing all over the country with Vince and also recording on many of his soundtracks for HBO.
Vince plays the acoustic bass, and he also plays the bass saxophone and the tuba, most commonly used before the acoustic bass came into fashion. The saxophone and the tuba are much louder than the acoustic bass, so it was great for the early days of recording. If you ever come to New York City, really try to check out Vince Giordano. His Nighthawks, his 11-piece ensemble, plays every Monday and Tuesday at the IGUANA restaurant, which is on West 54th Street in New York.
Will and I have been in many movies with Vince, including Revolutionary Road, also in the HBO series Boardwalk Empire. Vince has a catalog of over several thousand big band charts by Fletcher Henderson, Benny Goodman, and Paul Whiteman. I highly recommend you come to the IGUANA on a Monday or Tuesday.
This week we're going to feature our friend Michael Heller from Atlanta, Georgia. My brother and I met Michael in New York City at Birdland Jazz Club. Michael's an active jazz player and jazz fan. He plays alto and tenor saxes. Michael's got many horns, including Selmers, Kahns, and Yanagisawas. He's always looking to find the different sounds between each. Here he is playing Have You Met Miss Jones on his Yanagisawa alto. We want to thank Michael for sending his video in so we could share it with you all. We hope you do the same.
At the end of the episode, we're going to put all of our Patreons on the screen, but every week we like to feature 3 of them.
Jeffrey Rezick,
George and Eileen Green,
and Jerry McFarland.
Thanks so much for your support. We really appreciate it. We really encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, give us a thumbs up, and comment below.
And again, if you have any video of a song or solo that you're playing right now and learning, please send it to us, and we'd love to feature it in the channel and talk about it. See you next week.